Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Randi Walker, Diamond Ambassador with Plexus, and I am so excited because tonight we have a very special guest, Sapphire, brand new Sapphire Ambassador, Randi Underwood is with us tonight, and she just ranked up to Sapphire in April, and her team is literally exploding, y'all, and I'm so proud of her. She's been with me since 2015. She was really I think she was my second runner on my team. And, she has never given up. She's been doing Plexus, like I said, since 2015. It's now 2022. So when did you actually start working the business, Randi? I know you're going to go over some of this.
October. So it's probably about 6.5 years.
Yeah, about 6.5 years. So I just wanted to I asked Randi to share with me her timeline of when she started Plexus and all of her rank ups. So I want y'all to, well, if I can get to it real quick. I just want to share that with y'all because Randi has, just proven to us that this is absolutely possible if you just stick with it and you're consistent and you don't give up. I mean, huge things are possible. So she started in October of 2015. She ranked to silver in November. She ranked to gold in January of 2016. She ranked to senior gold in September of 2016, ruby February of 2017, senior ruby May of 2017, and then emerald August of 2017. So, I don't know. I just can't say enough about Randi. She has been, I always tell everybody that she has got just an amazing business brain, and she's always willing to learn, and she's always educating herself. Like if the newest thing's coming out, she's going to find out about it so she can share it with her team. And I just love that about her because she's not one to just sit back and say, oh, well, that changed. I'm just over it. I can't do it anymore. She is a go-getter, and she's always, like I said in her post, she loves to find out the new things, but she doesn't just find them out, she executes it. And it's just evident because her team is exploding. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to Randi, and it's all yours.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a crazy whirlwind. And I would say, especially this past, the last 2 years, I think it's been a little bit crazy, I think, for all of us, right? A little bit about my journey besides what Randi shared. Randi and I met while we were in Italy. So it was very challenging to start the business there as well because we legally weren't allowed to be working there. So I was hiding posts from people and whatnot. So that was in October. And then I moved back to the States in July 2016. I was a full-time photographer and I loved it. And I told Randi I want nothing to do with this business. I had my own business already. But when I moved back, so obviously at that point I was already sharing, of course. And when I moved back, I realized that I was only back for 10 months. My husband was back for school, and he had already told me we're most likely going to Korea after this. Like, we didn't know for sure, but he was like, that's pretty much what's going to happen to me because it happens to all the pilots. So in my mind, I was like, I have 10 months here. Is it even worth it to start up my business again? Because it usually took about at least 6 months before I started getting things out there word of mouth, right? And so funny thing was, I got back in July. In August, Julia Carty actually messaged me beginning of August. I think it was the second week of August. And she was like, hey, do you want to go to Leaders Retreat? And I was like, yeah, but how? And I just remember her saying, well, you have to get, at the time, PV counted for a lot. And she was like, you just have to get to like 2,500 PV and add 30 ambassadors. Uh-oh. Got him. She's like, and add 30 ambassadors. And I was like, you guys, I was a gold ambassador. And I was like, what? Like, that's terrifying. How am I going to do that? But I did it. Like, I was like, all right, I'm going to try. I'm going to go for this and make this happen. And somehow I managed to get everybody together and excited, and we did it. And so I made it to my first Leaders Retreat. And that was actually what really, honestly, you guys, events are what gets you excited. Events are what gets you connected. That's what really, like, where I drew my line in the sand. I was like, this is cool. Like, this is amazing. I loved all the leaders that I got to meet, a lot of the leaders above us. And so that's what I did. I was like, I'm going to do this. And so I remember talking to a few of them, asking, what do I need to do? What does it take? And so they would tell me, at least get on one call a week. I think it may have been even two, and just basically set up what I had to do so to get to Emerald. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. And so when I decided, as I hit senior gold in September, leaders retreat was in October. And that's when I was like, I'm doing this. And I had to have that conversation with my husband to let him know, like, hey, 2 nights a week, I'm going to have to be on calls. And just kind of basically let him know all the things, like, I'm not going to be available these times. If I want this and you want this for us too, like, I need you to be understanding of this. At the time, my kids were really young, so I didn't have to have that conversation with my kids, but I would say it's important to have that conversation with your kids too. So anyway, I moved to Korea. I moved back to Tennessee, you guys, literally like 8 months before the pandemic hit. So I was so excited. I'm like, yay, I'm back to the States. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to grow and things will be great. And then that hit, and I had no friends. I met nobody, guys, besides the people I went to church with, but then I couldn't go to church anymore. I barely had any friends for 2 years. My husband was commanding, so I wasn't allowed to be friends with any of those people. So I had like everything kind of working against me. But I have a really strong belief and relationship, with God. And I was just like, this is just the season I'm in. And I'm just going to keep going at it and just kind of, try to find a good place, like try to stay somewhere good mentally. So that's kind of how those last 2 years went. And I kind of decided, I went to Mexico for our jewel trip in September. And right there was when, again, I was like, I had a new runner. I had Kelsey as my new awesome, excited runner. And sometimes, you guys, that's what gets you motivated and excited again too. And she had been here for like a couple months at that point. And I was just done. I was ready to move and grow again. And so I would say, sometimes people will say, what did you do to make this happen last month? Like this growth. To be honest with you, I really feel it's been the last 6 months that helped this growth, because from October to December, we had leaders retreat that a lot of people were pushing for. We're really excited. And to be honest, in the past, when they had leaders retreat, the contest wasn't till the end of the year. So I think that really helped us out a lot, because we were adding more than we normally do during those last 3 months of the year. Convention also, having that contest as well, really, really helped, because I missed out on the final prize of leaders retreat by 100 whole credits. And so I was like, I am not letting that happen again. So I was really motivated to not let that happen for a convention contest. But I think a lot of my team obviously was super motivated by all the prizes and stuff too. So those were 2 things that I would say really, really helped. It's all about consistency in your daily habits. I started off in January reading the book Atomic Habits. Now, this is the 3rd time I had read it. I actually usually read it every January, and I probably should read it more than that. In fact, on our call today with Genevieve, she was saying that you should read a book 7 times, like in a row. And I was like, whoa, like that makes sense though, because I feel like not everything is clicked, even though I feel a lot of what my team has been doing. We read Atomic Habits. I read it by myself, and then I read it together with my team again as I was kind of doing calls with them. And I really feel like that helped a lot. So if you've not read Atomic Habits, you need to get that book. It's incredible. I have it on the physical book, but I like to listen to it on Audible, because it's just, I can listen to it while I'm driving, while I'm cooking, cleaning, whatever, right? Running. So I highly recommend that book. So a couple of things that we've been doing. Winning Day is a huge thing that a lot of you guys have probably heard of. It's something that Genevieve has talked about, but it's really just your daily IPA. And so we've been getting on a daily power half hour every day, Monday through Friday. And even when people don't show up, we still work. It's kind of like, well, if there's no one on, I still need to get my work done too. So it's leading by example, right? Making sure that you're making sure that you're doing the work, showing up for the things. We started doing bi-weekly IPA challenges to kind of help the team get motivated and to know exactly what they need to do, as well as it's just Monday through Thursday, and then on Thursday evening doing a messenger party. So we've been doing that every other week. And then the weeks we're not doing those bi-weekly IPAs, we're doing a different event, like a Zoom event or even a Facebook event. So we're doing a lot of that for our team as well. Team calls we do bi-weekly, and that's only because, we're connecting a lot in our team chat thread, but there's so many calls, right? We've got Randy's calls, we've got corporate calls. There's so many that we can be a part of, and so many great ones. So making sure that you're connecting with your team is huge. Being military and having my team all over the place. I know some of you guys are blessed to be, most of your team is all in one place, but I've never had that because I literally usually move every 2 years. Hopefully I can stop that really soon. Like I said, adding 3 to 6 per month has always been my goal. And I will say that that should be, everyone's goal should be to add 3 no matter what. But my goal, I've kind of upped it, saying I'm going to add 6. Leading with the business is extremely important. And I think that that's one of the things that changed with my team and shifted, because in the past, it was just, we were just adding customers. That was it. And so people were always falling off, and it's like, you can't keep up with that constant thing. You have to find new runners. And so I just kind of told them, like, guys, we got to do this. You got to start posting about it. You got to make your chicken list. You got to reach out about it. Like, you have to do that, because if you don't, you are either going to stay where you're at or you're going to fall backwards. So you have to find those people. It might be through new groups like that you guys might join in your local area. It might be through Instagram, people you connect with there, but either way, you have to find those people and the ones that that are looking for an opportunity. And so many are looking for an opportunity these days. And more open-minded, I feel like, to network marketing too, because of the times, right? So it's really just, I would say, a lot about that. Personal development, as I talked about, like reading a book, I would say 30 minutes a day of personal development and professional development is huge. I started that from the very beginning, and that's probably, you know, I know I'm not where I need to be. None of us are, right? We always will need to grow our entire lives. But I would say that that's what kind of helped me on my journey go really, really, like, my timeline at first was pretty fast, right? That helped me go really, really quickly, is making sure that I'm always focusing on growing and figuring out what it is that I need, whether it's mindset or leadership growth or whatever. One thing that I think is huge for everybody is focusing on silvers, senior silvers, and golds. Silvers, especially because we can get everyone to silver, right? Whether they want this business or not, we can get them to silver because they want their products paid for. It's all about how you're approaching them with it and the verbiage. But I think as long as you are kind of talking to them from the very beginning, like as you, because I like to sign them up over the phone. So as long as you bring up the referral link and the, you know, the possibility and whatnot, and you're asking them if they'd ever, you know, once the products work for them, if they'd be interested in sharing at all, and you're setting up the stage at the very beginning, they're going to be already kind of open to it, already thinking about it, because you planted that seed, right? So when I focus on silvers and they add 3, and I know like maybe they want more than this, and they're not just wanting their products paid for, and they're not just sharing with a few friends, I always start there no matter what, with just add 3. And then I'll say add 3 more, and then add 3 more. I don't like to overwhelm people. So we always go with baby steps, right? So then the 9 is senior silver. And then obviously they have what, another, I think 8, depending on if they're the ones adding or if they have people under them. And then I would say sometimes the hardest jump is if they did get themselves to that spot, they got themselves to gold on their own. It's that the hardest jump really is gold to senior gold, right? Because you need to find runners to do this with you. Very rarely I'll see someone get themselves practically to senior gold and then they get stuck if they don't have any runners. You have to have people doing this with you from the beginning, and you have to be brave and bold. And that's not sending them little messages on Facebook or Instagram. Like, get on the phone with them or get in person if you can. I get in person because it's just going to be more genuine. It's going to come out the right way. I'm going to be able to have a natural conversation with them. So as long as you're teaching your people to lead with the business from the beginning, and everyone's doing that, it's going to be very duplicatable. Let's see here. Okay, this is something that's actually different that I actually did since, well, I want to say it was February that I started this, because Genevieve, Genevieve basically has been helping a lot of us, Jules, and she has something called Diamond Sprints. And a lot of us, I know Lisa was in it last year. There's several of us in it right now. And she kind of like broke things down for me. So I felt like I was doing a lot of the things, but it was not as organized as the way that she's teaching us. And so her telling us to create a chat. So to go diamond, she's like, I'm getting distracted with noise. Sorry. There's someone needs to be on mute, Brandy. I can't mute them anyway. Okay, where was I at? Sorry. Okay, so she said you need to have 4 main legs, right? And that makes sense, you know, like think of a table, right? You want to have 4 main legs, and that's going to be solid right there. So, and those are your level ones. So it might be an adopted level one that you're treating as your level one, but you need 3 people like not underneath each other, 4 separate ones. I'm sorry, not 3. And so what I do is I have a chat with them, and after I have my call with Genevieve weekly, I get on a call with them weekly. And we talk probably, to be honest with you, I probably talk to them daily. If it's not daily, we miss a day. Like it's like every other day or daily. Like we are always talking. I'm always, just literally doing all the things together. So what I like to do is beginning of the month, I map out their goals for them, and we break down all of their legs and what their goals are. And then after that, they duplicate and go do that with their team as well individually. And so it has actually helped a lot, because I used to actually try to do all the things. Like I was just doing all the mapping out. And finally I'm like, okay, you guys can do this too. I know that I'm very math minded, and I get excited about numbers, and I do love mapping out, but it kind of can burn you out, right? If you're not teaching your team to do it and you're doing all the things. So I've got them doing that, which has been awesome. And then let's see here. So I just wrote, we grow by focus on others and serving others. If you want to rank up, you always need to look for who on your team can rank up and who you can help, because you don't want to make it about you. And honestly, like when it came to last month, I was able to see not just where I was ending, like on the 28th when all the subscriptions went through, but I knew that there were still several people on my team that were pushing for their own ranks. So based off that and knowing that, I said, well, this one's pushing, this one's pushing, this one's pushing. So we got to go for it, because it's going to bring me too close to not go for it. Right. So it's all about knowing what's going on your team as well. And, if I were the only one pushing and no one really was, which is something that kind of happened to me a couple of years ago. I'm not saying no one was pushing, but it was one of those months where no one had a rank up month, right? So that's what I mean by that, pushing. So yeah, there's that. Let me see what else I do. Sorry. Last month, I think I didn't let the fact that there was no remarkable or anything to push for, like no Add 6 contest from Plexus. I basically decided, you know what, I'm going to find a way to motivate my team on my own. Let me think of something that's exciting enough for them to push for. I know that everyone always loves Plexus shirts. So a lot of you guys, obviously on this call, if you're on our whole team, because I know some of you guys might not be, we all did that, right? It was like the add 3 and be blessed. If you're a blessing, whatever. I can't even think of the saying right now. If you're blessed, wait, either way, it doesn't matter. Those Santa Barbara bags, Brandy got that as a gift for me years ago, and I loved it. And then we gave it away, I think, for one of our Christmas parties. And so I just knew everyone loved those bags. And we had so many newbies on this team that didn't have the bag yet. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for this as well. So I think that may have helped a little bit with their motivation to try to at least get to 6, a lot of the team. But yeah, it's just the last thing I just want to say about this. And I'm going to share some quotes from Genevieve from today, because they really stuck with me actually. But I make sure that I log into my virtual office daily, like every day. I always know what's going on with my people. If there's someone added, I go and I check. I'm like, oh, the number went from 20 to 21. Who added? I go and I check. I'm always on top of that. I always know who added. I check my points daily, and I actually, I have a habit tracker. I highly recommend getting a habit tracker, but I literally on my habit tracker around it, I have basically I track where my number, like where I am every single day. And the cool part about that, and that's how I knew I was growing last month, was I looked back at March and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm over 200 points ahead than I was the month before, which was surprising to me because we usually add a lot at the end, right? So I was like, this might be my month. And so if you're tracking daily, you're able to kind of see that, right? So I would highly recommend getting it. It's like less than $10. They have them all over Amazon, but definitely get one if you don't have something to track your stuff daily. And try not to track too much, because if I remember I started off January excited about Atomic Habits, and I was tracking so much that I wasn't actually achieving my goals because of that. So, pick a few things that you want to make sure that you're doing every single day and just track those, but definitely track your points for sure. No, okay. I think that's it. I think I wrote a couple things twice for some reason, but The quotes that I have from Genevieve today, though, and this is something that I think probably got me stuck, and maybe you guys can learn a little bit from us sometimes when it comes to this, but she said, once you reach your goals, you stop doing all the things that got you there because you fall in love with the goals instead of falling in love with the process. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that, I was like, that definitely is what happened to me, a little bit when I got to Emerald. So I just want to let you guys know, when you get to certain goals and you push so hard and you're excited, like keep going. Don't take a break. You might need a day or two to rest, obviously, on the weekend, and that's okay, but keep going. And don't think that you don't need to keep building your own personal business because you finally reached the goal and place where you want it to be, right? She said, don't let your indecision be an excuse. Fear of failing is getting in the way of making progress. And then discipline is a choice, choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. And so, there were some things that I had to make decisions about too. In January, I was like, I'm not letting this, I'm not just going to sit by again this year and just, I had to decide and take action and show up daily for my team, and even do things that I didn't want to do when, sometimes I didn't want to do them. Sometimes I don't like to do them at all. And sometimes I'm just not motivated. Right. But that's what I would say kind of sets the people apart, that, it doesn't mean that, we could all be here. We can all be at Diamond. But we just have to make that decision, right? How badly we want it. And I'll tell you this, I think what's also really motivating for me, so make sure you have a strong why, because my husband is retiring in 3 years, and everyone's like, oh, you got a long, like that's a long, it's not a long time. 3 years is going to fly by. And my dream has always been for him to stay home, at least for a little bit. Like he wants to stay home for a year after retirement before he decides what he wants to do. And there was a time where he's like, I'm probably not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to go into the airlines or do this or that. And so for me, that was my huge motivation to say, no, I have to make this happen because I want that for him. He's worked his tail off however many years, right? And he deserves that. And I think it would be incredible for our family. So that's a huge part of my why and my motivation that gets me going. So if you don't have that, you need to dig a little bit deeper and find that why. So that's it.
That was awesome. I literally took like a whole page of notes, Randi. I tell you all the time, I always love hearing you speak because I always learn something. And I think it's, I've heard it said all the time to recruit people that are better than you are. And I love that because Randi is she's not a teacher by trade. Well, she's homeschooling her kids and teaching them right now, but she loves to learn and she loves to teach what she learns. So I appreciate that about you. But does anybody have any questions for her? Because this is the time to ask. I can't see. Let me get you off speaker view. Let's see. I can't see everybody. If you do, just unmute yourself. Nobody? I have a question, Randi. When you say that you lead with the business, what do you have specific messages or how do you do that?
I think leading with the business is really, I think a lot of it is putting the posts out a lot as far as, what this business is to you. As far as like, for me, it would be, obviously it could be all this, what I just said. But the community and the friendships, that's one of the reasons I stuck around Plexus, to be honest with you guys, because I felt all alone. So putting more of those types of posts out and showing people, I mean, I was kind of surprised at how many people were shocked when they saw my announcement and they're like, you make that much? Like they had no idea, which goes to show that I probably haven't been posting enough about that side of things, right? So I think it's posting that and posting more business focused testimonies. I think it's more about making sure, like I said, from the very beginning, whether they seeked you out or you seeked them out, and it's about products, because let's just say you seeked them out because they had headaches or whatever. I think it's really just setting it up at the very beginning when you're signing them up and you are, you're letting them know, like, how cool is this? Like, you have this referral link that you can use and you can, and just kind of letting them know right there. And then it's also, though, it's going to be, now I don't, a lot of the times it's, for me, successfully, when it comes to like someone that runs with me, like with this business, it's someone who I'm local to. So I don't usually I might message them initially to see if they want to go out for coffee. but I like to be in person with people if I can, to really talk to them about it and the opportunity and what it, what it could be for them. So it's just really listening, kind of like we listen for when people have health issues going on. It's really listening and seeing what people are posting about, right? And knowing what they possibly need. Like my one friend who just signed up she signed up last month, but she moved to Texas. And she signed up early because of the special we had going on, but she wasn't ready necessarily for the business yet. But she literally signed up for the business specifically. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question fully, but
Yeah, you did. That's good. Trying to think if there's anything else. And you do these power hours. You do you said you do them Monday through Thursday, and you do an IPA
oh
challenge
no, we do Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we do Monday through Friday, power half hours. We do Wednesday, different time, like 1 o'clock, Tuesdays at 3, just because our schedule, we were trying to see if we could get other people that couldn't make the 1 o'clock time for that reason. And then the IPA challenge is the one that's Monday through Thursday. So Monday through Thursday, and then doing an event that evening. So
that's awesome.
and I feel like I kind of learned a lot of that from Brianne Coolidge, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very cool. Does anybody else have any other questions? No.
You can type in the chat too if you don't want to talk.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat if you want. Excuse me. Somewhere. Okay, well, I see some questions down here. Excuse me. Okay, and the tracker that you said that was just on Amazon. Is there a specific one that's better, or they're just kind of?
I don't think so. I just liked the way this one looked. I mean, I could send the link if you guys wanted it. I just like, it has quotes like for every month too. It's just, well, not quotes, but it tells you like spirituality habit idea, write in your gratitude journal every day. Home habit idea, spend 20 minutes tidying your home every day, just things like that. And I don't know, I just thought it was fun and pretty. So I just think I typed habit tracker in there and just went with the one I liked.
Okay, that's awesome. I think I've listened to Atomic Habits twice, but I think I need to listen to it 7 times in a row. That's a really good book.
I think I now do too, after Jemia said that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Randi. And I hope you guys all took a lot of notes, and I'm sure we'll be having more questions for you later, but thank you guys for hopping on. Y'all have a good evening.
Everyone.